Hello, horror lovers. You probably heard of the latest edition in American Horror Stories, the 7th episode of American Horror Stories. Season 3, known as X, unfolds in a haunting black and white tableau that explores the grotesque underbelly of medical ethics and the perilous fixation on altruism. The tale centers around Claire, a devoted nurse who becomes ensnared in a malevolent plot lurking within the sterile confines of a hospital that claims to offer salvation, yet harbors a far more malevolent truth. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, so without any further ado, let's jump in the story of this haunting place.
I just need to find the keys and open... Look out! Look out! No!
Mysteries of Ward X. In the dimly lit corridors of the hospital, Claire, a dedicated nurse, wrestles with the weight of her past decisions. Haunted by a previous job where she ignored her instincts, she is determined to make amends at her new workplace. However, an unsettling atmosphere hangs over the hospital, and Claire senses that something is dreadfully amiss. The question looms. Can she unravel the sinister threads of this place, or will she become yet another victim of a merciless system? The tale begins with a peculiar woman lurking at the hospital gate, her presence unnerving the security guard, Malcolm. As he fumbles for help, the woman vanishes into thin air, leaving a cold dread creeping up his spine. This eerie encounter sets the tone for the chilling events to unfold. Meanwhile, inside the hospital, Claire faces a distraught mother, desperately trying to explain that her son, on the brink of death, cannot receive treatment due to a lack of insurance. This moment marks the beginning of a grim cycle of exploitation. Just as Claire attempts to soothe the mother's anguish, Dr. Naustrom, the imposing figure of authority, strides in, assuring the woman that her son will receive treatment through a mysterious initiative known as the Spring Hill Program. Strangely, Claire has never heard of this program, igniting her curiosity and concern. With a sense of foreboding, she resolves to dig deeper into the shadows of this unsettling hospital. Alice, the first patent. Is she? As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows in the sterile hospital corridors, Claire found herself confiding in Lily, a fellow nurse. Frustration seeped from her words as she lamented her inability to truly help those in need. In the midst of her despair, she inquired if Lily had heard of the Spring Hill program. But before Lily could respond, a chilling presence interrupted them. The same woman from earlier, her face a mask of terror, loomed before them, her mouth agape in a silent scream. Claire, driven by an instinct to assist, approached the woman, but Lily's fear was palpable. "You shouldn't leave me alone with her," Lily warned, her voice trembling. Ignoring the warning, Claire handed Lily the patient's samples and turned her attention to further tests. Just then, Jacob, another nurse, entered to check on the sheets, his demeanor casual, unaware of the dark undercurrents swirling around them. As Claire glanced back, her heart sank. The patient's identification tag was smeared with blood, rendering it unreadable. In a moment of distraction, she left the scissors on the table, instructing Jacob to handle the situation. It was a grave error. When she returned, the sight that met her eyes was a nightmare made flesh. The scissors protruded grotesquely from Jacob's throat, his eyes wide with shock and betrayal. In that moment of horror, Claire realized with a sinking dread that Lily had never delivered the samples. A sinister revelation loomed, hinting at the darkness that awaited her in the shadows of the hospital. Claire stood in the dimly lit washroom, her heart racing from the trauma she had just endured. Naustrom had insisted she go home, but fate had other plans. As she splashed water on her face, the air grew heavy, and the ghostly figure of the patient reappeared. This time, the woman, with a gaze that pierced through the veil of sanity, reached out and severed the tag from Claire's wrist, her finger trembling as it pointed insistently at the now bare skin. With trembling hands, Claire scrubbed the tag clean, revealing the name Alice Taylor. The revelation struck her like a thunderclap. Alice had been admitted for skin cancer, only to vanish into the ominous depths of Ward X. Claire recalled the frantic whispers Alice had tried to share earlier, words that had fallen on deaf ears as Naustrom dismissed her concerns. The doctor's demeanor had been unsettling, but now the truth twisted like a knife in her gut. What chilled her to the bone was Lily's signature on the transfer papers, a damning indication that she had known all along about Alice and the sinister Ward X. It was no wonder Lily had recoiled at the thought of being alone with the woman. Panic surged through Lily as she clutched the papers, her face pale and drawn. "We need to leave, now," she gasped, urgency lacing her voice. Claire followed her to the rooftop, where the night air was thick with tension. Lily lit a cigarette, the flame flickering like their dwindling hope. Claire had confided in Lily about her past mistakes, how she had ignored the signs at her previous job, allowing the darkness to fester unchecked. Now, Lily revealed her own torment, the burden of feigning ignorance about Ward X, a fear that gnawed at her insides. Then, in a moment that shattered reality, Lily stepped to the edge, the file clutched tightly in her hands. Claire's heart plummeted as she realized the depths of Lily's despair. With a final, haunting look, Lily leapt into the abyss, a desperate escape from the suffocating dread of becoming a patient in that cursed ward. The night swallowed her whole, leaving Claire alone with the echoes of their shared horror.
Oh, you bitch! You're gonna regret that!
What happened to Claire? As Claire descended the dimly lit staircase, she felt an unsettling chill in the air. The file that had once been clutched in Lily's trembling hands had vanished, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. She encountered Malcolm, but before they could exchange words, Naustrom intervened, sending him away to report to the police, his expression a mask of cold indifference. Determined, Claire approached Naustrom, her heart pounding as she confronted him about Ward X. He met her gaze with a sinister calm, revealing nothing but a predatory glint in his eye. In a swift, calculated move, he attempted to sedate her, his intentions dark and twisted. But Claire, fueled by desperation, struck him fiercely in the eye, the sound of his pained gasp echoing in the sterile room. With a surge of adrenaline, she knocked him out cold, seizing her chance to flee. Bursting from the ward, she found the sick boy from earlier, his frail form a haunting reminder of the horrors within. She hurried him back to his mother, urging them to escape this nightmare. Yet, as she spoke, the woman's eyes filled with doubt, casting Claire as the madwoman in a world gone awry, likely to send her child back to the very place they had just fled. Just then, Alice reappeared, her presence both a comfort and a curse. She led Claire to the true heart of darkness, Ward X. Inside, the sight was grotesque, patients twisted into monstrous forms, victims of Naustrom's relentless ambition. Claire's heart sank as she spotted Malcolm among them, trapped in a cage of despair. As she fought to free him, a sharp pain pierced her neck. A syringe plunged deep, and darkness enveloped her. When she awoke, the sterile scent of antiseptic filled her nostrils and panic surged through her veins. She was bound to a hospital bed, Malcolm beside her, both of them prisoners of Naustrom. The man loomed over them, an eye patch obscuring his gaze, a twisted smile playing on his lips as he prepared to unleash his horrific experiments. Naustrom was taken aback when Alice, with a wild glint in her eyes, lunged to protect Claire, aiming a knife straight at him. He attempted to reach her to make her understand the truth of his identity, but each word only fueled her rage. Perhaps he had underestimated her acceptance of the monstrous form she had embraced, her mouth perpetually agape in a silent scream. In that chaotic moment, Claire managed to free herself and plunged the blade into Naustrom's heart, ending his life, but the act drained her, leaving her unconscious. When consciousness returned, she found herself in a sterile hospital room, a detective and a doctor looming over her. The doctor dismissed her ramblings about Ward X as mere delirium, but Claire was determined to prove her sanity. It was then she learned of Alice's fate, put down for her violent rampage. In the chilling finale of American Horror Stories, Season 3, Episode 7, Claire led the detective and the new doctor into the depths of Ward X. To her horror, Alice awaited them, a grim reminder of her grave error. The two strangers were complicit in this dark web. It was too late for regrets as she spotted Malcolm locked away in a cell. The detective revealed his daughter's battle with cancer, hinting at a sinister operation far beyond her comprehension. Ignoring the warning signs, Claire became the next sacrifice in the twisted realm of Ward X. In the end, trust in authority proved futile, and the lesson was clear. Never venture alone into darkness, for without a backup plan, you might find yourself trapped in a nightmare like Claire. So this was for today's folks. See you in our next video. Till then, bye-bye and take care.
No, you can't leave me here. No, please.
Welcome to Ward X.
What the heck, I'll laugh anyway.